All right, so picture this. Your body, right? It's like this fortress, constantly under attack, under siege. Viruses, bacteria, toxins, and then there's that slow burn, that leads to things like heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, even diabetes. Relentless, these attackers.
Yeah, and here's the really wild part. You might feel totally fine for years, totally oblivious to these battles raging within.
Right, like completely unaware, you're going about your day, and inside it's like total war. But what if you had a secret arsenal?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
What if you could arm your body's defenses? Well, today we're diving deep into that. We're looking at 10 natural allies, everyday foods, that can act as your body's frontline defense.
We're talking about fighting back against those threats. Reducing inflammation, protecting your cells, optimizing your well-being, all that good stuff.
Exactly. And it's not about some restrictive diet or chasing those trendy superfoods you see popping up everywhere. Nope. This is about specific, readily available, evidence-backed foods with remarkable abilities to help your body to actually bolster its defenses.
Love that. So we're taking a proactive approach here, right? Not just treating symptoms when they hit, but building a foundation, an internal environment that's more resistant to disease in the first place.
Exactly. So think of food not just as fuel, but as information. This stuff interacts with your cells, influences your entire physiology.
Fascinating stuff. So where do we start?
Well, how about with something small but mighty, like the blueberry?
Blueberries. They're getting a lot of attention, and for good reason, especially when we talk about something as devastating as Alzheimer's disease. It slowly robs people of their memory, their cognitive function. It's heartbreaking.
It really is. But you're saying these tiny blueberries, they might hold some key to preventing or at least delaying that decline.
That's what the research is suggesting. And it's largely thanks to these pertinent little compounds called anthocyanins. They're antioxidants, and they give blueberries their vibrant blue-purple color.
So they're colorful and they fight disease. Amazing.
Right. Well, they've shown some remarkable abilities, like crossing the blood-brain barrier. That's like the super secure border patrol for your brain, and these guys get through.
No way. So they can get into the brain and actually do something.
They can. Once they're in, they can help reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, both huge factors in Alzheimer's development. There's even some evidence suggesting they improve blood flow in the brain.
Wow. Like little brain protectors.
Exactly. And, get this, they might even enhance communication between brain cells. Plus, they might even be protecting against those amyloid plaques and tau tangles, which are hallmarks of Alzheimer's.
It all sounds very promising, but what's the actual research saying?
There are some really encouraging studies. Animal studies have shown cognitive function improvements with blueberries in their diet, and observational studies with humans have linked a higher intake of blueberries with a slower rate of cognitive decline as people age.
Makes you want to grab a handful right now, doesn't it?
I know, right? And there are even small studies where older adults with mild cognitive impairment showed improvements on cognitive tests after having blueberries.
So not a cure, but definitely something worth adding to the grocery list.
Absolutely. And we need more research, of course, but these early findings are pretty exciting.
They really are. And to be clear, it's not just the anthocyanins that are doing the heavy lifting.
Right. Blueberries are also full of other flavonoids. They've got vitamin C, vitamin K, manganese, fiber. It's a nutritional powerhouse.
So how much should people be eating to, reap these potential benefits?
A good goal is between half a cup to a full cup a day.
That's doable.
Yeah. And you can have them fresh, frozen, even dried in moderation. Sprinkle them on your oatmeal, add them to yogurt, put them in smoothies, snack on them straight up.
Lots of options. All right, let's switch gears and talk about another major health concern, heart disease. And this time, our natural ally is, it's fish. Specifically, salmon.
Heart disease. It's still one of the biggest health problems worldwide.
It is.
But salmon, specifically the omega-3 fatty acids in it, offers some serious protection for your cardiovascular system. It's like a natural shield.
Omega-3s, we hear about them all the time. But can you break it down? What are they exactly, and why is salmon such a good source?
Sure. So there are three main types of omega-3s we talk about: EPA, DHA, and ALA. Now, EPA and DHA, they're the superstars for heart health, and they're found mainly in fatty fish like salmon.
So salmon's like the VIP of omega-3s.
Exactly. Now, ALA, it's plant-based. You find it in things like flax seeds, and your body can convert it to EPA and DHA, but that process isn't very efficient. Salmon, it just delivers those heart-healthy omega-3s directly.
Straight to the source. So what are these EPA and DHA actually doing in our bodies to protect our hearts?
Well, they lower triglycerides, which are a type of fat in your blood. They reduce blood pressure, have anti-inflammatory effects. They even improve how your blood vessels function.
Pretty impressive.
Right. And there's more. They help prevent blood clots, reduce the risk of irregular heartbeats, and even improve heart rate variability, which is a sign of a healthy, resilient heart.
So basically, they're keeping our hearts ticking smoothly.
You got it.
Now, what about the salmon we buy at the store? Is there a difference between wild-caught and farmed salmon when it comes to these omega-3s?
Yeah, there is. Ideally, you want to go for wild-caught salmon when you can. Their natural diet gives them higher levels of omega-3s and a better ratio of omega-3 to omega-6.
So wild-caught is the gold standard.
Pretty much. Farm salmon is still good. It's still got omega-3s, but the omega-6 content can be a bit higher because of what they're fed.
Good to know. But the bottom line is eating salmon, whether wild-caught or farmed, is good for our hearts, right?
Absolutely. All the research backs it up. People who eat fish regularly have a lower risk of heart attack and stroke. And studies on omega-3 supplements show they can actually lower triglycerides and improve blood pressure.
More reasons to add salmon to our plates. And it's not just about the omega-3s, is it? There are other good things in salmon, too.
Definitely. You're getting high-quality protein, vitamin D, B vitamins, potassium, selenium.
So it's like a multivitamin you can eat?
Sort of, yeah. And there's astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant, which gives salmon that beautiful pink color.
Okay, let's get practical. How much salmon are we talking about here? How can people easily fit it into their week?
Aim for at least 2 servings a week.
That seems doable.
It is. And you can bake it, grill it, pan-sear it, poach it. There's smoked salmon, canned salmon. Get creative with it.
All right, on to food number 3. One that might bring back some childhood memories and not always good ones.
Oh, you're talking about broccoli.
Broccoli. But this often dreaded vegetable is actually a potential powerhouse in the fight against cancer.
It gets a bad rap, but broccoli is amazing. It's part of the cruciferous family, and these veggies are packed with benefits.
Cruciferous. Great word. What else falls into that category?
You've got cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, bok choy, arugula, collard greens, radishes, turnips, watercress.
So all the good stuff.
Exactly.
What is it about these cruciferous veggies that makes them so good at potentially fighting cancer?
It's all about these compounds called glucosinolates. When you chop, chew, or digest these veggies, those glucosinolates transform. They break down into other compounds, and one of the most potent is sulforaphane.
Sulforaphane sounds serious. What does it do?
It's been shown to help the body detoxify from carcinogens. It can inhibit cancer cell growth, even trigger apoptosis, which is basically a self-destruct button for unhealthy cells.
Wow.
Yeah, it helps reduce inflammation, prevent DNA damage, and there's even some early research that suggests it might make certain chemotherapy treatments more effective.
So it's like a multi-tool for fighting unhealthy cells.
You could say that, but it's important to remember most of this research has been done in vitro, in labs, and in animals.
So promising, but not a guaranteed cure in humans.
Exactly. We've seen studies where it inhibits the growth of cancer cell lines, studies showing reduced tumor growth in animals, even observational studies in humans that link higher intake of these veggies with a lower risk of certain cancers. But it's not a magic bullet.
Understood. So how should people cook these veggies to get the most sulforaphane?
Overcooking can deactivate the enzyme that helps form sulforaphane, so you want to eat them raw or lightly cooked. Steaming for just a few minutes, stir-frying, even microwaving are good methods.
Fine.
Not ideal. It can leach out some of the good stuff. But here's a cool tip. Adding a pinch of mustard seed powder to your cooked cruciferous veggies can actually boost sulforaphane production.
Interesting. So mustard seed powder, got it. And what about broccoli sprouts? I've heard those are particularly potent.
They're packed with sulforaphane.
So if people want to add more of these veggies to their diet, what's a good starting point?
Aim for at least 1 serving every day. Try different varieties, get creative with your cooking methods, find what you enjoy. Remember, gentle cooking is key to maximizing that sulforaphane content.
1 serving a day, challenge accepted. Let's move on to something many people struggle with: joint pain and inflammation. And I think you've got just the thing, turmeric.
Turmeric, that golden spice, it's got a lot to offer, especially for people dealing with arthritis.
Arthritis is no joke. Pain, stiffness, swelling. It can really impact someone's life.
Absolutely. And turmeric shows real promise as a natural remedy. The key is curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound.
It's what gives curry that beautiful yellow color, right?
That's it. And it works in a bunch of different ways to help with arthritis. It blocks NF-κB, a molecule that drives inflammation in the body. It also inhibits COX-2 enzymes, similar to how some over-the-counter pain relievers work.
So it's tackling inflammation from multiple angles.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. It also reduces the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. These are like the body's signals for more inflammation. Plus, it's a potent antioxidant, neutralizing those free radicals that contribute to inflammation and pain.
So it's a real fighter. But what's the science saying about turmeric's effect on people with arthritis?
Studies have shown that it can reduce pain and stiffness, improve joint function. In some cases, it's been found to be as effective as NSAIDs, those nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. We've also seen reductions in blood markers of inflammation.
So real, tangible benefits.
Yes, but we do need more large-scale, long-term trials to fully confirm these findings. The initial results are very encouraging, though.
They are. Now, I've heard that curcumin can be hard for the body to absorb. Is there anything people can do to help with that?
Good point. The bioavailability of curcumin is a bit tricky, but there are ways to boost it. The most effective is combining turmeric with black pepper.
Black pepper.
Yeah, black pepper contains piperine, and that compound can increase curcumin absorption by, get this, up to 2,000%.
That's incredible. So always add a dash of black pepper.
Absolutely. And consuming it with healthy fats can also help with absorption.
So how can people easily add turmeric with that essential black pepper to their diet?
It's pretty versatile. Think beyond curries. Add it to golden milk, smoothies, soups, roasted veggies, rice dishes, even scrambled eggs. Start small and see what you like.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, a word of caution. If you're thinking of taking turmeric supplements, especially if you have any health conditions or take other medications, it's always best to check with your doctor first.
Definitely. Always good to be safe.
All right, on to number 5, a tropical fruit that's gotten a lot of attention online for its potential role in fighting cancer.
You're talking about soursop, right?
Soursop, also called graviola or guanabana.
Yeah, it's got a long history of use in traditional medicine. But we need to address the, shall we say, enthusiastic claims circulating online about it curing cancer. Some even say it's stronger than chemo.
Right, I've seen those claims too. Miracle cure, cancer killer. But what's the real story?
It's important to be skeptical of those claims. They're often exaggerated, misleading, and not backed by solid scientific evidence.
So no miracle cure?
Unfortunately, no. While scientists are investigating its potential anti-cancer properties, there's no conclusive evidence from human studies to support those bold claims.
So where do these claims come from? What has science actually found?
Well, the potential anti-cancer effects they've observed are mostly linked to compounds called acetogenins, found in the soursop plant. In lab studies and animal studies, these acetogenins have shown some promising activity. They've inhibited cancer cell growth, triggered apoptosis in cancer cells, disrupted their metabolism, and shown antioxidant properties.
So positive results in the lab, but not necessarily in people.
Exactly. That's the crucial point. There's no conclusive evidence from human clinical trials that soursop can effectively treat or cure cancer.
That's important to remember.
It is. And there are potential safety concerns, too. One compound, ananocin, has been linked to potential nerve damage. It might interact with certain medications, and some people experience digestive issues. Plus, it hasn't been adequately studied in pregnant or breastfeeding women or in children.
So it's not risk-free?
Not at all. The bottom line is, soursop is not a substitute for conventional cancer treatments. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, always consult with your oncologist and follow their guidance. Conventional treatments are backed by rigorous research and have proven safety and effectiveness.
Good advice. So if someone's thinking of using soursop as a complementary therapy, what should they do?
First and foremost, talk to their doctor. Only consider it with their approval and supervision. Do your research, look for reliable information. And if your doctor gives the okay, start with a very small amount and see how your body reacts. Avoid high doses and long-term use, and never consume the seeds.
Good to know. This is a good reminder to always be wary of sensational health claims online and to prioritize talking to qualified medical professionals.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to something a little less controversial. Garlic, that kitchen staple that might help with those pesky common colds.
Garlic, it's not just for flavor. It's got a long history of medicinal use, especially for boosting immunity.
That pungent smell, that's the good stuff, right?
You bet. It's mainly due to a compound called allicin, formed when you crush or chop garlic. That triggers a chemical reaction.
So you have to dance it to get the benefits.
Kinda, yeah. And allicin, it's got antiviral and antibacterial properties based on lab studies. Garlic can also stimulate various immune cells, and it's got antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects.
Pretty impressive for a little clove. So what about the common cold? Does garlic actually help?
Some studies show that people who regularly eat garlic might get fewer colds and recover faster when they do get sick. But the research isn't totally conclusive. We need more large-scale studies.
Fair enough. So how should people prepare garlic to get the most allicin?
Crushing, chopping, mincing, that's key. And let it sit for about 10-15 minutes after you do that before you cook it. That gives the allicin time to form. And don't overcook it. Too much heat can destroy it.
So low and slow with the garlic.
Exactly. Fresh is generally best, but aged garlic extract is good too. And even garlic powder and oil have some benefits.
So many options. How can people easily add more garlic to their diet?
Crush it, let it sit, add more to your cooking. Some people like garlic tea. Just steep crushed garlic in hot water. And aged garlic extract is convenient, but check with your doctor before taking any supplements.
Good advice. All right, on to our next natural ally, a beverage enjoyed worldwide, green tea. It seems it might be helpful in managing type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes is a growing problem, but green tea with its catechins, particularly EGCG, shows some promise in helping with blood sugar control.
Catechins, EGCG, those are big words. What do they do?
Well, they seem to improve insulin sensitivity. That means your body's cells respond better to insulin, which helps lower blood sugar. Green tea might also reduce glucose production in the liver and protect those insulin-producing beta cells in the pancreas.
And it's got those antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties we've been talking about.
Right, and there's even some early evidence that it might help with weight management, which is another plus for people with diabetes.
So what's the research saying about green tea and diabetes in humans?
Observational studies show a link between regular green tea consumption and a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And intervention studies have shown improvements in blood sugar control in people with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. Animal studies also support these potential benefits.
So far, so good.
Yeah, but we need more long-term studies to confirm the findings and figure out the best amount and duration of green tea consumption for managing diabetes.
Does it matter what kind of green tea people drink and how they brew it?
There are many types, each with slightly different amounts of those beneficial compounds. As for brewing, use not boiling water, and steep for 2-3 minutes. That way you get the good stuff without making it too bitter. Most studies showing benefits looked at 3 to 5 cups a day.
That's a lot of tea.
It is. But if you like green tea, it's doable. Start with 1 cup a day and gradually increase it if you want. Swap sugary drinks for unsweetened green tea. Try different varieties, find what you like, and be consistent.
Sounds like a healthy habit to try. Okay, let's talk about something we all experience from time to time. Nausea. And our next natural ally for dealing with that is, well, it's spicy.
Ah, you're talking about ginger. It's been a go-to remedy for nausea for centuries.
It's definitely my go-to when my stomach's upset. What is it about ginger that makes it so effective?
It's mainly thanks to gingerols and shogaols, these bioactive compounds. They seem to work in a few ways. They can help speed up stomach emptying and relax the muscles in your digestive system. They also interact with serotonin receptors in the brain, which play a role in nausea. And, like many of our other allies, ginger has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects.
So it's calming things down in the gut and in the brain. What types of nausea has ginger been shown to help with?
It's pretty versatile. Studies have shown it's effective for morning sickness during pregnancy, nausea caused by chemo, motion sickness, post-operative nausea, even just general upset stomach.
Pretty much any kind of nausea, then. What's the best way to take ginger for nausea?
You've got options. Fresh ginger root is generally the most potent, but dried ginger powder is easy to add to food and drinks. Pickled ginger, the kind you get with sushi, can also be surprisingly helpful, and ginger tea is a classic. You can also find it in capsules, tablets, essential oil, and even candied ginger, although that tends to have a lot of sugar.
So there's a ginger remedy for everyone. Any tips for using it effectively?
Start with a small amount and see how you feel. You can take it before, during, or after nausea hits, and it's safe to combine with other gentle remedies, like peppermint. Just listen to your body and adjust the dose as needed.
Good advice. I always keep ginger chews with me when I travel, just in case. All right, we're nearing the end of our list. Number 9 is a breakfast staple for many oats. But it turns out they're not just a good way to start the day, they're also great for heart health.
Oats are a nutritional powerhouse. Their secret weapon is soluble fiber, specifically a type called beta-glucan.
Beta-glucan, it sounds like a superhero name. What makes it so good for our hearts?
It's amazing stuff. Soluble fiber, like beta-glucan, dissolves in water and forms a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. That gel helps lower LDL, the bad cholesterol, by binding to it and preventing its absorption. It also helps regulate blood sugar by slowing down glucose absorption, keeps you feeling full, and even promotes a healthy gut microbiome.
So it's a cholesterol regulator, a blood sugar stabilizer, and a gut-friendly food all rolled into one.
Exactly. And beta-glucan is particularly good at binding to bile acids, which are made from cholesterol. This forces your body to use more cholesterol to produce new bile acids, so overall cholesterol levels go down.
Amazing. Now, oats come in so many different forms. Does it matter which type people choose?
It does make a difference. The less processed forms, like oat groats, steel-cut oats, and rolled oats, those retain more of their fiber and nutrients compared to instant oats, which are more processed. Oat bran, the outer layer of the oat grain, is also super rich in soluble fiber, including beta-glucan.
So stick to the less processed options when possible.
Definitely. And the research on oats and heart health is very strong. Studies show that eating oats regularly can significantly reduce LDL cholesterol. There's also some evidence for blood pressure control, and overall, a higher oat intake is linked to a lower risk of heart disease and better blood sugar regulation.
Sounds like a heart-healthy winner. Are there any other nutritional benefits to oats besides the fiber?
Oh yeah. They're a good source of plant-based protein, magnesium, iron, zinc, B vitamins, and antioxidants.
A nutritional all-star. How can people incorporate more oats into their diet?
Oatmeal's a classic, but get creative. Try overnight oats, add oats to smoothies, use oat flour in baking, make your own granola. You can even add cooked oats to savory dishes like veggie burgers or soups. And oat milk is becoming very popular. Aim for at least one serving a day and go for those less processed options when you can.
So many possibilities. And finally, we've reached our 10th and final natural ally, one that's particularly relevant for men, tomatoes, and their potential role in protecting against prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer is a serious concern, but tomatoes, especially cooked ones, show real promise in offering some protection. The key is lycopene, a powerful antioxidant.
Lycopene, that's what gives tomatoes their red color, right? And you're saying cooking them actually makes it better.
Exactly. Lycopene is a carotenoid, and cooking, especially with a little healthy fat like olive oil, increases its bioavailability. Your body absorbs and uses it more effectively. So cooked tomato products like sauce, paste, and stewed tomatoes are great sources.
So, cooked tomatoes for the win. How does lycopene work against prostate cancer?
Well, it's a potent antioxidant, so it protects prostate cells from free radical damage. It also has anti-inflammatory effects, might inhibit cancer cell growth, trigger apoptosis in those cells, and there's even some evidence it might interfere with hormone signaling that can contribute to prostate cancer development.
It sounds like it's fighting on multiple fronts. What's the research saying about tomatoes and prostate cancer in humans?
Observational studies have often linked a higher lycopene or tomato intake to a lower risk of prostate cancer. Some studies show that lycopene supplements or more tomato products can reduce PSA levels, a marker for prostate cancer risk. And lab and animal studies have shown that lycopene can inhibit prostate cancer cell growth.
So while we need more research, it's looking pretty good.
Definitely encouraging.
Are tomatoes the only good source of lycopene?
They're the best source, but watermelon, pink grapefruit, guava, papaya, and cooked red bell peppers also contain it, although usually less than tomatoes.
Good to know. So if men want to benefit from lycopene, they should be eating more cooked tomatoes.
Absolutely. Aim for several servings a week of cooked tomato products. Prioritize cooked over raw tomatoes when you're specifically going for lycopene. Try new recipes, get creative with it. And homemade tomato sauce is always a good option.
So there you have it, 10 incredible foods, each with its own unique set of potential disease-fighting properties. It's amazing how powerful our food choices can be.
It really is. Food isn't just fuel. It's a proactive tool for supporting your health and potentially preventing disease. These 10 foods are just a starting point, and the science backing them is really exciting.
So the message is clear. Start thinking about how to incorporate these foods into your meals. Make conscious choices at the grocery store and in your kitchen. These small, consistent steps can make a real difference in your long-term health.
I love that. Small steps, big impact. And here's something to think about. How can you integrate these disease-fighting foods into your life in a way that's sustainable and enjoyable? What's one small, actionable step you can take today to add one of these natural allies to your diet?
That's a great question to reflect on. Thank you for diving deep with us today. We hope this has been informative and inspiring. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future deep dives into fascinating health topics.